Are we receiving messages from those of another world? Or is this an elaborate hoax that's being played on all of us? Today on Speaking of Spirits, we discuss crop circles.
Hello and welcome to Speaking of Spirits, and today we are talking about crop circles, and one of my favorite topics. So the whole crop circle thing, do you guys remember the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yes.
Which one? That was the one with the water and the aliens, right?
That movie traumatized me.
Well, it was filmed just a few miles from my house in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
No.
So the whole thing about crop circles and stuff that goes on in the corn, right? Even before with Stephen King's Children in the Corn. Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
That stuff scared me when I was little. That movie traumatized me.
I love that movie.
Oh
it's
my
awesome.
God. I probably couldn't even watch it as an adult. I'm that traumatized.
Many people believe that crop circles have been reported for centuries, but their primary piece of evidence is a woodcut from 1678 that appears to show a field of oat stalks laid out in a circle. This was according to the Independent. Some take this to be first-hand eyewitness account of a crop circle, but little historical investigation shows otherwise. Think most of the crop circles, what was it, 1980s? 1970s?
They were all over the Squire then.
Yes. So, in July 1996, according to Harry Illenstein's Crop Circles for Beginners, one of the world's most complex and spectacular crop circles appeared in England across a highway from a mysterious and the world-famous Stonehenge monument, which is in the Wiltshire countryside. It was an astonishing fractal pattern called a Julius set. And while some simple or rough circles may be explained away as a result of a strange weather phenomenon, this one unmistakably demonstrated intelligence. I mean, it was really complex, and I remember it. It was, to this day, you can see it online.
Wasn't that the one where it was weaved?
It was just if you Googled a Julius set, you'll see the pattern.
I just found a picture of it,
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
The only question is to whether the intelligence was terrestrial or extraterrestrial. According to the National Geographic, crop circle enthusiasts have come up with many theories about what creates the patterns, ranging from the plausible to the absurd. One explanation in vogue in the early 80s was that the mysterious circle patterns were accidentally produced by a especially vigorous sexual activity of horny hedgehogs. I can't even say that with this brain.
They called him Sonic.
Oh my God.
Some people have suggested that circles are somewhat created by localized and precise wind patterns, or by scientifically undetectable Earth energy fields and meridians called ley lines.
I can't even handle the wind theory either. It's just like, it just affected this one part.
Well, that's because we live in Idaho.
Yeah.
The whole crop would be flat.
Right?
That's true. Okay.
Others, such as molecular biologist Horace Drew, suggest that answers lie instead in time travel or alien life. according to the New Zealand Herald. He theorizes that patterns could be made by human time travelers from the distant future to help them navigate our planet. So he's working on the assumption that designs are intended as messages, and he believes he has decoded crop circles, symbols, and what they contain. And he believes some of the messages say, believe. Believe. Like, I believe the truth is out there. Like, believe.
I'm sorry, I think my brain shut off. So in the crop circle, it
is
says
a message.
Believe.
Like, it's a coded message, and he's decoded it.
Oh, and it just happens to say believe.
Believe.
Got it.
Got it? Okay.
Huh.
Anyway, I'm not sure about that, but okay, to each their own. A crop circle, a crop formation, where a corn circle is a pattern caused by the flattening of a crop, right? And so they've shown that you can do it with just a string and a board.
I was just going to say, now they have the artists that go out and do it, and it's a big thing.
But what was interesting on some of the earlier crop circles, I remember reading this in the Inquirer when they first came out, right? Because that was our Saturday paper. We always got it at the grocery store. And because they always had the spooky ghost stories, and that was where I headed first. But some of the crop circles didn't have, and I guess still today they can do it, right? But if they're careful, there were no footprints, no breakage of any stalks leading into the circle.
Yes,
that's what was weird.
Yeah, that's what's wild to me. How, or even if you are with a board and a laser, now they have little lasers, whatever. But still, like, if you've ever seen how thick, especially like wheat and stuff is, even if you flatten it, where are your feet?
Right. Right. And so there was no, like, pathway leading into the circles. Yeah. So when you're walking, because they're growing wheat right across from my house right now, right across from the driveway, if you walk through it, you leave an imprint. I mean, you break the wheat as you're walking.
Yeah, it's not.
Because I watch the guys when they're moving irrigation lines every day.
Yeah.
And so most of the time they're pretty careful about walking the same path.
How they walk, yeah.
Because you break the leaf. Now, and there were earlier crop circles that had some scientific anomaly. There was changes to the broken wheat. That wasn't in the resulting, like, the wheat that was left undisturbed.
Oh, gotcha. I see what you're saying.
To the wheat that was, so they took samples and they started testing them for all kinds of stuff. And some of the crop circles, not all of them, but some crop circles, the wheat that was in the center of the circle that had been broken off had minute differences in the wheat structure and in the wheat itself that the remaining wheat didn't have.
That's interesting. I know they're seeing in some of them some of the changes in soil. There's a lady that studies the soil. What is her name? Monique Klinkenberg takes
French and German, they go really, really well.
Klinkenberg, yes. She takes the soil samples from crop circles in England. They're really, the areas around Stonehenge and all of those places. And yeah.
Did they find some anomalies?
She says it's a little too... It's too soon to say definitively either way. They haven't had enough samples, and it's... You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to skew the data right now, so...
Yeah.
But she says right now, I mean, good news, I guess, if you're a believer in, like, the extraterrestrial theory, is that there's nothing disproving that it's not people. So... It's very interesting, and I didn't know either. Like, to me, when I think crop circle, I think, like, aliens, like UFOs. But I guess in England, there's a big, like, they call them cropies. And, yeah, the people that go out and use the crop circle just like they use Stonehenge. And there's been, they claim that you can feel the energy inside the crop circle and even physically in your hands. If you get down close to the ground, your hands tingle and change colors, and I don't know.
Really?
That's very interesting to me.
Is that recent?
Yeah, these crappies. This is from And it's National Geographic, okay? It's not anything hokey. Yeah, this is from 2018. So,
Well,
yeah.
so are they making the circles?
No.
These are finding them.
These are ones that, so it's interesting because there's this article on National Geographic, and part of it is like the croppies versus the hoaxers. And also it interviews like the artists, and the artists are like, no, trust us. Like if we do a crop circle, you're going to know about it because we want credit for our work. We do this beautiful work. It's an artist thing. Like you're going to know it's us kind of thing. And so these are like unclaimed.
Scan the QR code.
Yeah.
right.
Literally.
Well,
yeah. So.
Okay. So if it's these guys going out and doing it, I hope they have permission because you are ruining a portion of somebody's field.
Yeah,
too,
I think
their
it's
crop.
just like graffiti though.
But
so
it-
Banksy,
yeah.
you don't know who it is, but you know it's Banksy.
Yeah,
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, I didn't know that was a thing. It's kind of an odd hobby to me. But yes, one of these croppies, named Carter, says that we lowered ourselves down while touching our hands together in the middle of this crop circle. We could see our hands turn white with red blotches and the ends of our fingers tingle. To me, that sounds like allergies. That's literally what would happen to my hands.
I was going to say, EpiPen.
EpiPen.
They lower themselves.
So they lowered because they perform rituals. It's just like Stonehenge.
Okay.
You know, during the
Right.
solstice, you can go. They do it in these crop circles. Okay. So they stand in a circle. We lowered our hands down while touching our hands together.
Oh,
down
I see
to
what
the
you're saying.
flattened ground. We could see our hands turn white with red blotches and the ends of our fingers tingled. But they're not like this. They're lowering their whole bodies, so it's not like a blood rush. When we came up together, our hands returned to normal. We went down again and the same thing reoccurred. And it says people experience like physical tingling and they can feel the energy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. But that's what these croppies say. Croppies. So it's very interesting. It's a big thing, I guess. There's big rituals that happen, and I didn't know that. I just thought, to me, I stay away from a crop circle. They creep me out. They do. I'll take a ghost, and like UFOs are interesting, but I don't want to actually see any kind of spaceship. I don't want to see a cow get abducted. I'm good.
Apparently, I don't either.
You're like,
I was all ready to go.
can't even
all of a
handle
sudden,
it.
I wasn't.
Right? Oh.
So, in most of my crop circle research, most of the ones that I was able to dig into were debunked in one sort of realm or another.
Okay.
The thing that I found suspicious is a lot of them, they claimed that they were weaved together. So
I want to see those.
yeah, and so like I fell down a rabbit hole of someone who really likes crop circles.
A croppie.
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 I didn't know that was the term, but apparently that's
now
what it
you
is.
know.
And so he did the board thing with the string.
Yeah.
And they did a cool little design thing. And I said, well, that's really cool. And then they showed the picture, and it was just a flattened crop. And then they showed a picture of the crop circle that he was talking about.
Yeah.
And it was intricately weaved.
How does that even
Interesting.
happen? And I feel like, because they always say like crop circles appear overnight, I just feel like there's not enough hours in the night for a person.
Yeah.
Well,
Unless you weaved it
there's lots
and
of
then
people.
flattened it.
Yeah.
Oh.
No one knows how they did it.
Well, these two hoaxers, so in the UK, Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley, they took credit for having created many of the circles throughout England. After one of their circles were described by an investigator as impossible for human beings to make. So
no.
after an investigator says, no way, this is human, they went, yep, it's us.
Yeah.
So it kind of reminds me, if you
I
guys
love
have
that.
not
That's
seen
hilarious.
it, it's only on for 3 seasons, and I wish it was on for like 100. It's called The Detectorists, and it's a show set in England about this metal detector group, and how
Why
they're
do
always
I
trying
love
to
that
find
already?
like the elusive gold and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hilarious. So that's kind of
The
the
Detectorists.
Detectorists. It's on the Acorn channel. I subscribe to that, and it is hysterically funny. But that's what like these two guys remind me of. These two guys that play the leads on the Detectorists, because what a great sense of humor they had to go out and do this.
Yes.
But nearly half of the crop circles
Well, it has Toby Jones. I love Toby Jones.
Oh my God, it's the best ever. So, where was I going? I just lost my train of thought. So, these are the guys that came out in 1991. But that doesn't explain. So, I guess they modeled their first crop circle design off of one in Australia.
Oh,
I think it started in Australia and then just kind of took off. So, but not every crop circle has somebody who's claimed to have made it.
Right.
And are they all, are the ones who don't have somebody who come out and said, yeah, it's me, because they don't want to get in trouble for trespassing.
Fair. Totally fair.
Or were the first crop circles that popped up in the UK or in Australia without a human? Did they not get made by a human? And then somebody said, "Oh, that's cool. Let's do that."
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
What's fascinating to me is the fact that there were those early, and I wish I could find the early scientific study that showed that anomaly, that difference between the texture of the vegetation in the circle and out.
Yeah, because what would have done that?
Yeah, they thought it was heat.
Yeah,
they
that
thought it was heat,
though.
like a heat.
Yeah, and that would not have happened back in that time.
So that same rabbit hole that I was talking about, how he kind of finished it, this croppie guy.
Oh, yes.
That new term that I really
The croppie.
love. He said that there's a whole lot of misinformation, period. And the best way to turn everybody off is to say, look, we've proved that this is a hoax. And then all of a sudden everybody turns off. All done.
Whoa, just like with the UFOs with the military. Oh, yeah, they're not true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Just this last year, what happens?
Right.
And so the other thing that he brought up near the end was perhaps this was a thing that humans knew how to do, and that it went through family traditions, and that's how humans knew how to do it, but that's how they were communicating with something that was above.
Right, because to me, it reminds me of like the Incan lines. Mm-hmm. It's like, obviously that was a great feat to do that anyway, especially at that time, but it's like, who and why would you have you can't enjoy it, so why?
Oh, right, because you'd have to be such at a high elevation
and
to look at it.
Nothing high enough for a human to like stand on in that area. So, I mean, I can totally understand that and see that, but it's like, was it a religious thing where it's like, this is for the gods? Was it like communicating? It opens up more questions for me.
That is true.
Because like it just opens up more.
As a farmer, traditionally, you're growing your field on somewhat level or just slightly rolling ground. It's not very steep.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you notice there was a crop circle to begin with?
Oh, exactly. I've wondered that. It's like how...
Because we didn't have drones.
Yeah, exactly.
So was it a flying air? Was it aircraft? And somebody said, "Wow, that's cool," and started buzzing the fields. And I don't know, because obviously the pictures are taken from aircraft. But how was the first crop circle found? Had to have been from aircraft, right? So
or again, was it just something like the Incan lines that people just did? But again, why? Especially if that's your food source.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you just be like, we just spent all this time and resources to plant this extra field,
right? And then now we flatten it.
Yeah, to flatten it, unless it's very significant to you.
During the 1960s, there were many reports of UFO sightings and circular formations in swamp reeds and sugarcane fields in Tully, Queensland, Australia. I had no idea they grew sugarcane in Australia. Now I do.
Huh.
They also grow really big spiders.
Oh, God.
And almost everything in Australia is venomous, so I'm not going.
No, thanks.
For example, on 8 August 1967, 3 circles were found in a field in Duhamel, Alberta, Canada. The Department of National Defense investigators concluded that it was artificial, but couldn't say who made it or how. The most...
Go figure.
Yes, go figure.
But it was artificial.
It was artificial. The most famous case is the 1966 Tully saucer nest, when a farmer said he witnessed a saucer-shaped craft rise 30 or 40 feet from a swamp and then fly away. On investigating, he found a nearly circular area 32 feet long by 25 feet wide, where the grass head was flattened in a clockwise curves to water level within the circle.
Oh.
Can I interrupt you right there?
Hmm.
So we do a couple podcasts at a time for reference for our listeners. And we just got through with the Skinwalker one,
Yeah.
where we talked a lot about clockwise things in different traditions.
Clockwise.
Whilst I'm looking at this one and noticing that it's clockwise.
Clockwise. That's fascinating. Yeah.
We don't believe in coincidences here,
Mm-mm.
so.
So this clockwise curved circle that was flattened where he saw a UFO, the reeds had been uprooted from the mud.
What?
Right. So it wasn't just bent over. The
So it
reeds
wasn't
were
like
pulled
it like
up. It was a
landed
swampy,
and then
it's
took
like
off.
a corkscrewed something up, right? The local police officer, the Royal Australian Air Force, and the University of Queensland concluded that it was most probably caused by natural causes like a downdraft or a willy-nilly, which is a dust devil in Australia, or a water spout.
I didn't know that was called a willy-nilly.
What is happening down in that place?
I know,
just
right?
can't.
So a journalist wrote that the saucer was probably debris lifted by the causing willy-nilly. Willy.
In a perfect.
Oh, willy. I misspoke. It's a willy.
Oh.
So I don't know.
That's.
Okay, so tornadoes, think about tornadoes. When tornadoes are rotating, they're churning up the ground.
Yeah.
They're churning up the ground. So I could see a dust devil, but
it does, yeah,
it's
exactly.
moving forward.
I was just going to say, even if the ground only it touched down in that one area, it picks up stuff
all
around it.
Right.
And then doesn't gently just set it back down.
Inside the circle.
Inside the circle.
How
Right.
convenient. In a perfect clockwise motion.
Since becoming the focus of widespread media attention in the 1980s, crop circles have become the subject of speculation by various paranormal, ufological, and anomalistic what's an anomalistic investigator?
I don't know, but
Anomalies?
sign me up.
I know,
for
they're
that.
investigating anomalies, I guess.
I'm
Anomalistic investigators ranging from proposals that they were created by bizarre meteorological phenomenon to messages from extraterrestrial beings.
Do you think there's a technical certificate for that?
I know. We can make one and charge a lot of money for it.
Yes. In this economy.
Okay. So I don't like dissing other paranormal groups. I really don't. Because it's,
Do you have a bone to pick?
But
I love it. I'm here for it.
there is a paranormal group somewhat there. No, okay, I'm just going to say it's local. And
Award.
they wanted to do a paranormal course in which people paid quite a lot of money to become paranormal investigators, and then they would like graduate. And I said, so what? Anyway, I thought, okay.
Is this accredited?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said.
Where's
That's just an inkjet printer for $250 a pop, basically. And if you're out there listening in podcast land, please don't pay for stuff like this.
Yeah.
Really don't. Really don't.
It does not come from a good place.
That is not coming from the good place. They're not teaching you things. You need to be working with a group to do this kind of stuff. You need to be working with a mentor, a group, a medium, somebody who has knowledge, who does this stuff constantly. Don't just send away $250 to a paranormal group who's going to give you an inkjet certificate.
Yeah, do you think it was like a one-day thing and like hopefully they provided lunch? Like what was the process?
I don't know, but I shot
there
them down
homework?
all over the place and told them what I thought. Anyway, so
It's healthy.
some paranormal advocates think crop circles are caused by ball lightning because some of the patterns are so complex and they have to be controlled by some entity.
Ball lightning?
As somebody who has witnessed ball lightning firsthand,
What is that?
it is terrifying.
Really?
Yes, I was 7-ish with my grandmother. She lived in an apartment.
In California? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I will never forget this as long as I live. I will never forget this. We were in her kitchen, and there was a horrible electrical storm going on out, which was not normal for where we lived. And we hear sizzling. And Grandma, she always like, if there's thunder within 50 miles, you never take a shower because it'll get you, because it'll come through the pipes, right? And you always, because this is when you had landline phones. You didn't have cell phones, right? Yeah. You never talked on the phone because there were people who were they'd get like burned.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it was always like, unplugged everything. Grandma was always, oh my God, we got to unplug everything. So we're sitting in the kitchen and waiting for the storm to go by. And we heard this sizzling. And it coming from her bedroom. And so we kind of ran around the wall to her bedroom door. And we could see ball lightning come through the wall. We could hear it crackling first. And then it comes through the wall. And comes through the space, through her bedroom, goes through the wall, through the kitchen. We're running after it. And it was like fascinating. It was like a basketball-sized lightning.
What?
And then it went through her living room and out of the apartment.
Did it burn?
Yes.
Was there like burn marks?
Yes. Because she called the landlord. She's like, you're not going to believe this. And we were just like, oh my gosh, what was that? Yeah. And the landlord's, he's like, he couldn't believe it either. But it was ball lightning.
What?
So I don't see, but it was moving.
But wouldn't it burn the crop circle if?
That's what I would think.
Because if it burnt the walls,
ball lightning is moving like horizontal to the land. You would have to like come straight down.
Which I could see in a freak accident, but wouldn't it leave a
scorch
burn
mark? Yeah, you would think, or start a fire.
Yeah.
Because wheat. I mean. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so maybe
many New Age groups incorporate cross circles into their belief systems, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So where were we? Okay. Some proposed entities are asking. Oh. God, I'm sorry, but okay, we deal in the paranormal, but some of this shit is really out there. They're like asking the crop circles to heal global warming. Okay, so there's that.
Apparently it worked this year.
This crop circle, literally, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, I know, it's supposed to be like 38 degrees tomorrow night, and as we're recording this, what is the date? What is our date?
June 12th?
12th.
And it's like going to be like almost freezing tomorrow
it's
night.
Cold.
And
rained all day.
The next 2 days are supposed to be like a high of 57-ish.
But 2 days, yesterday was, what, 89?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's normal.
But that was one of 3 days this year that it's been above 70.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. It's just been ridiculously cold.
It's true.
Anyway, so a small number of scientists have found differences between the crops inside the circles and outside, like I was talking about. There's this guy, Levingood, published papers in Physiologia Planetarium in 1994. Seriously, this is the name of this publication.
It literally sounds like you're trying to cast a spell right now.
Like
it's not going
that
super
warm
well.
Demon's coming in.
There's
In
a
19
lot of syllables.
Yeah, Mark needs to be here just to like exercise us from this. In 1994 paper, he said that certain deformities in the grain, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And see, inside the circles were correlated to the position of the grain. Okay, wait, what did he just say? In his 1994 paper, he found that certain deformities in the grain inside the circles were correlated to the position of the grain inside the circle. Okay, I get that. Do you understand? So like the grain, let's say the grain within the first 6 inches circumference is going to be different than the grain in the 12-inch circumference is going to be different than the grain in the 18-inch circumference. So its position within the circle dictated the differences
it's
in
like
the grain.
Concentric almost.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That's very
But then there
interesting.
was another guy who said, no, that's all bunkus. So, you know.
Or I
here we
wonder
are.
if that could be recreated just by flattening grain with boards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
like,
how? I don't...
I guess that's why all the smarty pants people that use lots of syllables in their words.
And who published
say-
in the Physiologia Planetarium?
Yeah, those
Yeah.
syllables right there. That they cannot prove and they cannot disprove.
Good
Well,
Lord.
this one guy is like, until you do independently replicated by qualified scientists doing double-blind studies, otherwise following a stringent scientific protocol, you can't take any of this seriously.
And then it all depends on who funds it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Exactly. You always have to look at where the money's coming from.
Because turns out those people who use lots of syllables really like to eat too.
Yeah.
Weird
and
how
they
that
eat well.
works out. Yeah, they do.
In 2000, Colin Andrews, who had researched crop circles for 17 years, stated he believed that 80% were man-made. He thought the remaining circles with less elaborate designs could be
Yes.
explained by a 3-degree shift in the Earth's magnetic field.
What? He
That-
really had me going there for a minute. Now that is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's like,
Yeah.
it makes sense because you see crop circles in the shape of like a heart. I'm like, obviously.
It creates a current that electrocutes the crops, causing them to flatten and form a circle.
But why?
Electrocutes the crops.
So this is
But wouldn't you
just
see-
Colin Andrews. I don't know anything about him. There's no string of letters behind his name, so I don't know.
Wouldn't you see like something physical if it was electrocuted? Like,
But
it might
maybe
make
that's
us-
what that guy found. That one researcher, and then the other guy said it's all bunkus.
Oh.
So maybe he found those anomalies.
It all comes down to ley lines. Where are these crop
See?
circles exactly? It really is.
Yeah.
It's like the spontaneous
I really
combustion.
want to do a crop circle out here. I'm just saying. I think it would be so much fun for us to do that, and then we'll publish it.
be
And
rich.
Idaho State Journal can just run with it, and then oh my God, how much fun could we have?
We could have so much fun.
Mhm.
I'm
I'm just saying.
All
if you're
all I'm
listening, don't
saying
tell anyone this is
is
our plan.
we need to figure out bail money first.
That's fair.
So you listeners, if you think that's a great idea,
We-
my Venmo.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have a GoFundMe.
Yes. So I don't know where I kind of stand on this.
I was gonna say I feel like the stuff that I was reading about, especially I didn't know that there were groups of people that did rituals and all of that. Yeah, I feel like my perspective has definitely changed a little bit in hearing the stuff that you said. There's a lot of studies, but none of them seem to be conclusive either
No.
one way or another.
So I'm very
Which is
glad that everything
fascinating.
went the way that it did. Because remember that rabbit hole I was talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was going down like 6 different rabbit holes at one time. And they all correlated.
Oh.
Yeah, so it kind of blew my mind.
Hmm.
So this energy thing that we talk about,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really into Tesla.
Yeah.
Like him
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel that he was given a bad rap by lots of people
Oh,
and
boy.
he didn't deserve it.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So wireless energy is a big thing.
Mhm.
It is a huge thing. And it is a natural thing.
Mhm.
You can pull the energy from the atmosphere.
Which blows my mind in general. As a side note, that's nuts.
Uh-huh. So you have this energy.
Uh-huh.
So when you look at a snowflake under a microscope
You're
or
already
whatever you
like,
want to
you
say.
guys should see Tim right now. He
He
is
is
like
so into this.
talking with his hands, formulating, and he's already got me confused. Okay, a snowflake.
Have you looked at a snowflake
Yeah.
under? Is it pretty?
They're pretty.
Has cool patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all different.
They're all different.
Yeah.
Looks kind of naturey.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Naturey.
Nature.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So when you boil down everything, and man, there's just too much to say. But ley lines, pyramids, natural formations, energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, I can follow that.
Look up all of those things, and you can see how everything kind of correlates.
Mm.
And if you read much of Tesla, back in his day, there weren't a whole lot of the pyramids around that we know about now.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
And he foreshadowed that the pyramids were going to be found around the world.
Oh, I did hear
Wait
something
a minute.
about that.
Weren't the pyramids? They predated him.
No, but they weren't excavated or discovered
Oh,
yet.
I'm like, what
Yeah.
are you talking about, man?
No, they didn't discover the most
So the
of them
pyramids,
until,
the ones in Egypt, have been known for a long time.
but
Oh,
like
you're
the ones
talking
in
about
Mexico,
The ones
and
across the
Mexico,
world.
even
yeah.
North America. But yeah, okay.
So he said that they're going to be found, and that's how you transfer the energy. So
that the pyramids are transferring the energy?
that's how
They're
they
power points.
powered
Oh, they're
things.
power plants, yeah. I've read that. Okay.
And when you look at the ley lines, and you look at snowflakes, and you look at some of the patterns given in the crop circles, it's stunning how much they look alike.
To me, it's like, what is it called? The theory. The
String
1,
theory?
3, no.
Chaos
Oh,
theory.
3, yeah.
3, what?
So Tesla was also just an amazing mathematician,
Yeah.
and it was
Oh.
639.
No, 1, 3, 5. What I'm talking
1, 3, 5.
about is like the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 13, 21. You know. The law of...
What?
No, what is it called, you guys? My internet is like not working on my computer. Go figure in this room.
Sorry.
No.
don't know
Like
what to say about the
nature and anatomy always follows. It's a spiral. Guys!
She just blew her
It's
mind.
a clockwise spiral too. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Human anatomy, the ratio, the golden ratio. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Da Vinci.
Yes, but I think it was like the golden ratio. It's also called something else. But yes, everything. And it's always a concentric circle. And that's the ratio. Damn, you're onto something.
Welcome to the rabbit hole.
Colleen, send me a lifesaver so you can call me back.
Anyway, so all of these things, they all have different pieces in it, and when you align it together, you just feel like you're being fed full of disinformation from the man.
Do you ever wonder if it's like that one movie with Jim Carrey where he's living his life and then he realizes he's
the
like
Truman
the star?
Show or
Yes.
whatever?
Do you ever wonder if that's us? Because sometimes I feel like that's what we're living.
Yeah, and so a theory that I've talked
Yes.
about recently was an NPC theory, is what they call it. So, you know you're you.
Uh-huh.
That's about it.
Right.
So,
God, here we go.
non-playing characters. Are they here in the world? How many are there?
Right?
What is it?
It's like the grocery thing. Have you ever seen your neighbors bring in their own groceries? Because I haven't.
Never once.
Exactly. It's because you're the only one bringing in groceries because it's just you.
It's a
Oh,
Truman
come
Show.
on, you guys. I don't like this shit, man. We haven't had enough alcohol for this.
He started it.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
And it
so,
all comes from clockwise crop circles, if you were
Oh,
wondering.
my God.
clockwise everything.
Yeah. Yes.
So.
Because this golden ratio is a clockwise circle, you guys. Oh my God. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack.
So the
My
thing,
adrenaline.
the thing that's really cool about the world is, like, we didn't discover mathematics.
No, it was already there.
It was here.
Yes. I'm a firm believer in that. We'd never discovered anything or created anything. We just became aware.
We're here for the ride.
Yeah, we are.
And people who think that they've discovered something or whatever you want to classify
Right.
there are just full of themselves.
Okay.
But it is like, it's that idea again, though, if a tree falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, we have this perspective that, like, if we don't know if that little tree frog in the rainforest doesn't exist, and then poof, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't right now. It's
Well,
too
and
much.
so that's the position of man right now, which hurts my feelings because it feels like we're getting stupider and stupider and stupider.
You're taking it real personally.
Really? Like, when I read online that farmers don't need chickens anymore because you just go to the grocery store to get the eggs.
Yeah.
It really makes me want to just turn the computer off.
Well, I
Just-
do most of the time
What?
now.
Just be done.
I honestly, for the last 2 years, have not watched the news anymore because I can't. And I cannot take how dumb people are.
I cannot process.
No, exactly what you're talking about. Or we don't need to kill animals because we can just go to the store and buy meat.
Yeah, it's like...
What do we? What plant?
That's
Are
so
these people?
sad.
Do we breed people without brain cells? I'm just saying. I don't know what's
It's
happening
honestly
to the world.
so sad because we have gotten so far
I-
away from our truth and from, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I
Like,
was listening to a survey on the radio the other day,
Uh-huh.
and they polled people on a variety of stuff.
Oh, God.
Specifically on automobiles. I'm in the garage and I'm listening to this.
Oh, no.
30% of the people do not know how to put air in their tires anymore. 40% of the people, I think it's what they said, was 40% of the people don't know how to check the oil in their engine.
Oh, the sad thing is I believe it.
What has
Like, I believe
happened?
that.
And that's just cars. What's happening?
So that's how I ended it. So with
Oh, my God.
so who, if you are getting people this disconnected from everything that they need to be connected to,
Right.
who does it serve?
The
I don't
people
know.
in the
That's
people
what's
in
scary.
power. The
People in power.
Guys, Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451.
Oh, I know, right?
The little seashells that the wife
Yeah.
puts in her ears. Hello, AirPods.
Right.
You don't even have to pay attention or acknowledge your own existence because you live in this little world.
That's
inside
why
your
I'm
head.
so glad I disconnect every day and I go out because I have a little farm
You ground,
and
don't
I'm
you?
out every single day with my animals and have my hands in the dirt growing stuff.
And you live
And
out a little bit.
I
You
do.
can actually see the sky and you can see the land around you.
Yeah, I have to. I don't feel like I can breathe if I'm
Yeah.
not out there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't like the energy people give off. I don't like the energy.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So when
in the
it all boils
world?
down to it, like all of these things that we call paranormal, we give names to, whatever it is, it's amazing how many are really, really connected and how many things are really, really old and how many things like are real.
Is it even paranormal or is it just
Normal.
the ancient the ancient truth that we have gotten away from?
Right.
Because we don't go outside, we don't ground, we don't trust our instincts, we're not spiritual.
And what we talk about a lot is the people who are in charge right now, the people who win, are the ones who make the history, or the ones who make the books.
Don't
the
even
ones
get
who
me
make whatever.
started on textbooks, you guys.
Yeah, so I think it all boils down. Okay, crop circles, yeah, they could be a hoax. There
And some of
could-
them are.
Probably a lot of them.
Which is fine,
but
but so is
there could be some element of truth to this. There could be the fact that some of them do show changes, and nobody's
Say believe.
Yeah.
Well, right.
Or even just significant in some way, like literally, like the Incan lines, maybe that was the way of doing it. They didn't have big crops. They had sand and small crops. And maybe here,
Right.
in dense areas.
It's kind of interesting. Think about it. Most of the crop circles in the world are in the UK. Where's most of the spontaneous combustion happen?
Freaking you.
The UK. Everything happens in the UK.
Road trip.
I know.
I'm pretty sure that's why my ancestors said peace out.
Bye.
We're out.
We can't handle the weird.
Yeah. So let's just go to California and smoke weed. Yeah, so that's,
in.
I think that's
Let's go.
pretty, yeah, I'm in. Let's go. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Speaking of Spirits and the weirdness that surrounds some crop circles. And as always, please give us your 5-star rating. I don't care if you say, I love bologna sandwiches. Then the review. We just need the rating. That will help drive us up the charts.
And I do love bologna sandwiches.
I was
I
just
do
going to say,
too.
that sounds so good right
Especially
now.
fried bologna.
Yeah, with little American
Yeah.
cheese.
Oh, yeah. All right. Peace out, everybody. Till next time.
You've been listening to Speaking of Spirits, powered by Pocatello Paranormal Research in Pocatello, Idaho. Thank you for joining us today. We're glad you could be here. If you're enjoying the podcast, please do us a favor and go to whatever platform you are listening to the podcast on and give us a review. We prefer the 5-star reviews. This helps us know how we're doing, and it helps others to find the podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you on our next podcast.